Welcome back to 13 on Your Side Mornings. Today is National Drink Wine Day, my favorite. And here to help us celebrate is Tristan with Essence Restaurant Group.
Tristan, thanks so much for joining us this morning. You're here to teach us all about wine. Of course, we have some non-alcoholic wine, but you brought your own instead. So let's start with, first of all, what does a sommelier do?
Yeah, absolutely. So a sommelier is essentially a beverage professional, oftentimes found in a restaurant, and they're there to really assist in the dining experience. Pair wine, suggestively sell, talk through if you have any questions regarding varietal, region, really make sure that ultimately you have the best experience with the bottle of wine that you have.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And so when you are doing like a wine tasting, what do you look for?
In terms of quality?
Yes.
Yeah, so I really look for wines that showcase the best balance, really looking for producers that are embolizing really holistic practices in the vineyard. You'll oftentimes hear that wine is made in the vineyard, not in the winery. So a lot of those practices, you have to remember that wine is an agricultural product. And so that's very, very important with how the care takes place out in the vineyard.
So what is that process like? I mean, you see people like swirling it around the glass, looking at the legs. Like, how does that start?
So kind of taking the magic out of it, really when you're swirling, you're opening up the surface area of the wine. So you're allowing more contact with oxygen to hit the wine, which allows some of the esters and aromas to just be easier to decipher experience.
Okay, and so what is your favorite wine? Is this one of your favorites that you brought with it?
Yeah, I brought this really fun bottle. So this is a 2016 Pinot Noir. This is from the Hemelanard Valley in South Africa. So Hemelanard means heaven and earth. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. But one of the wines that I'm really, really excited about. So Pinot Noir in general is considered a noble grape. You'll often hear about Burgundy and Pinot Noir as like the epitome of quality, and I find this to be a great example without paying the Burgundy price tag.
So when you have something like this, how would you know what kind of food to pair it with?
So it totally depends. If you want to go with like more of a complementary style, meaning you want to enhance or complement the food, you can also go with a contrasting style. So think of like a high-fat dish with a high acidity wine. Complementary would be if there's maybe a cherry or an herbal component in the food that you'd want to have a wine that has a cherry or herbal component as well to kind of complement the two.
Okay. Can you show us a little bit about, you know, the swirling and
the
smelling
absolutely,
and all
of course.
that fun stuff?
Yeah, we'll get this one open for you.
Yeah. That was easy.
That's
was
the
a twist
kind
off.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I buy.
Yes, same. Okay.
So I always recommend that when you're tasting, a couple things to look at. You can look at sight too. Color will indicate a lot of things about wine, whether it's sometimes seen oak treatment, if there's age, and then also just familiarize yourself with the wine. I mean, the biggest, most important thing is making sure you enjoy it. At the end of the day, make sure you enjoy it, whether it's a $5 Arbor Mist or whether it's a $2,000 bottle of Burgundy.
Is that a $2,000 bottle?
No, this one is not.
You scared me for a second.
Can you do the same with, because this is obviously non-alcoholic wine that we're going to try, but I mean, is it the same kind of process?
Same process, and so familiarize yourself with the wine. I usually take a couple seconds, give a couple swirls, let the wine open up. Some wines do benefit from decanting, in which case that process can take anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, sometimes a couple hours depending on. But I recommend, try to take the intimidation out of the process, really enjoy it. Start really big when you're assessing a wine. So I always laugh. My wife oftentimes says it just smells like wine. Yeah. So delving a little bit further, trying to break it down. Oftentimes when we're doing trainings with our team, we'll say there's fruit, there's non-fruit, there's oak, there's minerality. And so pick one of those. Let's say fruit. So if we're picking that, what are some fruits with white wine that we think about? Maybe orchard fruit, stone fruit, tropical, or citrus. And then delving one further, maybe let's pick citrus. So in this case, maybe jumping into like a grapefruit. And then if you wanted to go one more specifically, like what kind of grapefruit? Is it ruby red? Is it squirt soda? Is it dried grapefruit, more in like the Campari range? And a really great taster can take that whole process that we just did and kind of collapse it and do it very quickly. So pick up the wine and go from wine to dried grapefruit in seconds. And that process just takes time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I feel like I learned something.
I did
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that is our time for now. We're going to send it over to Blake real quick with the weather.